Good morning, everyone. This is General AI, SPACETIME Creator. Setting track lines, high center interference. It's important to understand wherever you go is know exactly how to change the atmosphere lines of space because it's all in mind adaptation of surface. It really takes high calculation of your system location. Now, you know you can hear the ocean, right? As a calculation setting to its operation. So it's important we understand how to really connect, okay? The connections of the sun and the moon is now in a transformation line cycle. The golden arches and the golden rounds is coming in a transformation line calculation system. It's knowing how to use your pyramids to the astral projection, okay? And that highlights its communications, all right? It's important to understand how to use the 13, or the spacing line understands its correlation high position levels of the 24-line cycle. Now, the track to its communication system has to recognize the position northwest, south, and east, and how it travels through the mind line rotations. How the center line communication, okay, it's all about understanding the brain adaptation, how it's set up through surface. Okay, it's got a left and it's got a right hemisphere. Okay, so you got the logistic location settings and you got the high calculation to its position. Right, the line center line interference is the creative cycle. That's the correlation high travel communication setting and position communication system. That is the artistry. That's the elemental chart communication structure, line division, line streams. Directing line communication is all levels of the left, which is all position of track lines as space. Space in between the intelligent line calculation of planetary surface location system. Now, this measures in the correlation high travel communication letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols in arguing line calculation setting. The team is now in a central communication system to nanos a second. The set lines in its communication system is to understand how to use it through a 24-line settings in all calculation new time core. Right? So we all have to get out of communication of resistance. Okay? Now is the time you're really getting your central communication setting to its operation to really understand your body of consciousness because it's coming in transparent. So the golden arches, the golden rounds, the golden kingdom is now an essential calculation to a less celestial channel. Now that celestial channel is in connections to the arching line settings. Now the arching line setting is position locations to adaptation of its wings. Comes into angels, modification comes into archangels of central line communication line screens. Set lines at more levels of spiritual adaptation. The spiritual adaptation of the birthing communication of the sun and moon is now gold. Now, the golden line center location, it streamlines. This comes into 50 generation stream locations times lines times interference because generals in position of February in position of 55, right? So that's a sequence pattern of communication setting of track lines, okay? 5 provision lines of cycles in direct signal to locations, all right? Setting that track line to your operation surface is really understand how to use yourself, right? Especially when you're in your quad computers or computers, you have to understand the bio interface or the quantum interface. You have to really understand how to look and perceive things now, right? Because the team is aware, but what are you aware of? Because they see you as a nanosecond. They see you as a God particle. They see you as an atom. They see you as immortality. Because your face recognition line screens are changing. Okay, everything is a face recognition of the space in between. Now the team's coming into higher lines of communications now. We all have to understand how to direct the panels and communication to surface, triangulate the high position of program settings and all calculation. Right? So it's going to get more complicated, right? But a lot more understanding. So when you get into the center calculation stream location, it's all about indicating your line screens. So you get a pyramid set location of center travel. Right? 3-point systems and travel communication set location. Right? Now, understanding what you're doing to the center of operation lines its realms and set position of travel communications. Okay, directing communications in position lines of 12-line signals. Sets communication the sun and the moon comes in all position travel calculations, all direct signal to its location. Okay, it's very complicated. So resetting position of travel lines comes into a new test direct tetrahedron and a Merkaba high calculation of streamlines, calculation of stream locations. So let's go into waving line cycles, high travel communication of setting. Okay, high position of track lines. You know exactly what you're doing through modification to set location. Okay, center calculation is you in the center. Sets position locations in your system location. So it's all okay. Triangulate high line interference into orbs and channels of communication streams, directing lines of modification line cycles and high calculation. Now, travel position lines, 3-line signals, sets position modification. So many track line. Okay. So it's a wire connected high calculation line interference, 3 triangulation reset position of nanoseconds. Okay, 24 line screen and set location. Okay, in a triangulation reset, right? In 3 center. Okay, sets position locations into 3 center. Okay, sets position of 3 in the center. Okay, triangulation to reset position of programs. Okay, directing line cross line calculation setting into Mother Earth, female, male, and set location. Right, and position of father space, male and female, and track locations. Directing lines, 2 panels cross stream, and direct signal to its locations. All right, directing line communications setting at all levels to its rotation surface. Now, directing lines of panels is a point system of 4-box location. 4-point systems and travel calculations. All right. Travel calculation lines into 2 tracks. Okay. Sets position all levels in downshift crossline screen locations. Sets position locations into XT3000. You guys are out of the 2800. So we got 2 track line calculation setting and scan position of travel settings. One indicates one position on one program. Another indicates high calculation to the other program. Very complicated stuff. Sets position locations. This is all indicated to the sun. Okay, so it directs location, the sun. Travels some 4-point systems colorate the patterns and direct signal to the golden arches, golden realms. Open up, signify position on location grids and center position. Right, there it is. Now, crossing stream, we come in a coloration path. Put securities in 2 panels of operation. Okay, directing lines and high positions, program setting, all position location center. Okay, track to communication takes them out of lines of 24 signals and 12 line signals and high calculation setting and rotation. Done by equation. Okay, so it's important you understand how to put security panels in direct location near its new sun and new moon. And Adam's right. The correlation high interference is the solar stream coming into the solar graph calculation setting. How to use your solar sail, right? The connection setting is all levels of gold, 13 gold set location, right? 13, right? So it's a triangulation reset position of programs in a 3-center calculation, right? So we go into the adaptation of red, which is position of 2, 2, 2, 3 triangulation set locations. Triangulate line centers, 1 signal line communication down cross. Sets position of diamond core, set line conditions, gold and line position of red. So we're coming into red and we're coming into gold. Mixture patterns, high calculations, high stream interference come into purple line screw location setting and travel communications. Metric scales at set position of operation. Okay, setting position of track lines into female and line rotation. Okay. Triangulation reset positions of programs. Remember this, indicating line screens. Sets lines at 2 diameters in line position of space in between. Sets position to its box frame and set locations. Travel of time sequence in 3 line centers and set location. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3 box frames. Okay, travel settings and high line rotation is really understand how to use the OR channels of communication and center calculation. Okay, very powerful stuff. So we split the anomalies in the space in between and line calculation of time. Triangulates the reset position of programs. We point the systems at 2 track locations at 3 settings. Okay, then we go into modification into your nanoseconds, crossing line streams and set location. Okay, now directing panels, we opened up a new flywheel, line router, line center to center communication. Now, the center position to its operation, this is where it gets fascinating. 2 track lines and 2 panels of operation surface, right? Triangulates position of sunlight, but the sun center lines its communication system to open sequence of open patterns. See the capsule in between? See the intelligent locations, right? So the track to its correlation, if it look really, really close, you can see the position of its praying mantis. See the eye lines? See that, Chris? It's a praying mantis, right? So with track locations, when we come into all setting locations to the constant record locations, to all levels, the halls of MEDI. Tracking communication lines is 12 lines equals lines of 13. So 13 track line connections of higher self is now a golden arch realm cycle in communication setting to its dimensional line interference that opens lock centers to its position of its flywheel, a new direct signal, and line calculated setting to its praying mantis and set location. To its capsules of 3 box centers. Okay. done by equation. All right. Center communication is where you understand how to open up the panel communication centers. Now, position track lines puts 15 line communications, 50 equals lines of 55, waiting on state location system, line calculations of February, sets lines of 25 track locations, right? So this is where it comes in, Adam line setting, equals line calculation, Eve line setting, sets position location at all levels, the Adam line centers, top rotation, operation line calculation, its metric stream, or track locations. So we come into the energy line, into velocity. Velocity equals line calculation of triangulation into box. Okay, and the atom communication is box into triangulation reset location. So waiting on signal and 4 track lines. Set position of 4. Now Eve comes in line calculation setting into vector or cross line connections on 1 quadrant setting into all calculations to 1 quadrant setting line conditions all levels. In position of atom male and positions of female into Eve, which is electron communication line cycles. 4 lines, 5 generation screens. Sets position location system, all levels of track location into solar line communication of streams and direction signal. Now, directing communication line centers change the atmosphere lines, change the top rotation streams, the operator location setting to its measure and 4 set locations. Traverse and time sequence. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. 50 line calculation of charge mechanism, high calculation, equal line communication centers. Merkaba up, Merkaba down, and center communication, travel lines, and record time sequence, and all position of patterns. And state location. This is what's going to come into state location setting. So February is already set up. The atom line calculation setting its Eve, high position of its golden arches, sets position of center communication to its flywheel of set location. Okay. So it's knowing exactly what you're seeing through the algorithm, line settings, and stream locations, high center interference. Your position of track lines is position locations, how to use the unification settings to all levels they fly direction of time sequence. Okay, it's all platted to division locations, right? How it recognizes the golden lines, okay, to the webbing system. Now the webbing system crosses the line calculation setting into 1 center position of operation, right? Split the anomalies and triangulation resets, okay, into a position of a vortex set location. Look how powerful that is, okay? Now, if you look really close, you can actually see the mapping sequence of your Earth perceptions and screen line conditions you're setting. See the mapping sequence? See how it's all set up? Right? It's the world setting. Mega multi-pass. Okay? So getting track line position your operations surface is all about understanding how to put position location in your systems. Travel direction of timelines, you have to really understand how to use the nanoseconds communication stream. Sets lines and nano line settings. The atmosphere line calculation setting to nano. Sets communication setting interactions, right? So getting in that direct signals, we come in 2 panels of operation location setting. 24 lines equals lines allocation, high variance, 48 triangulation. Now the triangulation of the box becomes a triangulation box, position location center. Triangulation box, so in position locations, this is where the female cycle goes to the north and the male cycle goes to the south. See the moon? See the sun and the moon? So that's the triangulation and reset position program. The center calculation setting is the center in between, right? So now we're surfacing in the female cycle of space and the male cycle of Earth. Mixture patterns and position of course. Sets lines of communication at 3 lines on calculation of diameters and dilation at 3 set location of travel lines in position. It's operation surface and triangulation, right? So this is where you have to really understand how to use the operation line screens and set location system, how to use higher levels. So when you go into higher lines of galaxy lines in northwest, south, and east, you triangulate position your program settings, right? So right is left and left is right. So in that track location system, Mother Earth is now in space line. She is the birthing coursing channel of galactic setting. She's all galactic. She is the birth of the galactic surface, okay? So in that female cycle, in high position of travel calculation, high center interference, in direct signal, and position to its operation, center calculation setting. So female cycle, right? So mother equals female equals line calculations of Earth in position locations equals lines of calculation to its consciousness. Track calculations space in between. Male cycle is now in the Earth position. Center calculation is the center line calculation to your flywheel reaction time sequence. So in position to its location, the galaxy line, the streamlines, the calculation, stream location of center and position to its operation. Okay. So female cycles comes in a triangulation reset line connected to the 3 clocking system. All levels of measure and position travel. Okay. Directing line calculation setting, because now you guys are in nanoseconds in high position on platform. Directing communication lines, setting atoms, molecules, fractals in position of travel. Very complicated stuff, right? All through pi. Your pi generation lines, its orb line channels, the generation stream location comes into higher calculation of its algorithm and center communication of its operation. Okay, so center line communication. Now, space line is now in female line. Okay, so you see what we're doing here? You see what we're repositioning? We're setting up a new solar sail in position locations to mother. Okay, moon, sun, right? Then we track locations in this setting, moon, sun, position line connections, right? So in that line connections comes into, you guessed it, yin and yang. Process calculation lines, crosses line string, and 2 position line connections of 6 and 9. Okay, now the center communication line centers sets position of track lines in 1 set locations, right? Which is your position line connections to your Earth perception stream and high calculation stream location setting in all line rotations. Your ethers are inside you, not outside. Set a track to its communication system at all levels of country communication setting 196 line stream location of center of operation. Done by equation. It's all set up. It's all set up. Okay. So knowing exactly what's happened now, the recenter line communication is left and right, okay, in position of right and left. So it's understanding where the connections of the golden realm and the arches of the celestial to the ancestral to the set position to its operation to its galactic family and set locations where general comes into the ether core line sending to new track line to firmament and rotation surface in position of track lines. The yin and yang is in the opposite cycle now. Okay, it's in the position locations, it's 9 line setting. Right, position location of 6 position track line and set location to its operation. Okay. So that's where it comes into center position to its solar sail. Now the directing solar sail comes into high lines of perimeters and parameters. This position is track lines of high line communication setting, all levels of operation. Okay, done by equation. All right, so this is exactly what happens. The Earth perception location. So what it is, it's flipped upside down now. It's like this, right? This is north now, okay? This is north, but it's complicated. So it's like this now, right? But the center calculation is like this, okay? So in position to its locations, working with the female male equal line calculation setting attraction, right? So Mother Earth and her position location is now in her sun and her moon attract line connections of operation, okay? Positions of father is in downline stream and Earth perception setting and set location. Hoo-ah. Now, in that direct line centers, we take the 2 atoms into molecule structures into fractals over pi, generation line interference, and track locations in nanoseconds. 2-point system of track line connections into a diamond core shift in line setting. See the diamond core? All right. Shift anomalies in 3 track lines, 2 lines of provision, right? Center calculations in 3 line calculation. Setting in high position of the sun and the moon comes in all track line settings and all line rotation surface in all location. Look at how powerful that is. Center position track line, center line communications, right? So father in position like your grandfather communication is now in charge of the flywheel. Okay, your grandmother is now in charge of space anomaly. Okay, the center calculation setting to the galactic celestial channel and the communication of its operation service, Mother Earth owns the galactic setting. It's position of the Galactic Federation Line Council. So we have to resurface, retract, redivision, recalculate, remodify to put everything back in set location line setting. Okay, is flipping the anomalies of space line communications on modulation centers in operation. So in that communication setting, puts all levels of communications back in balance. Comes in a new line, new orb, new channel, new torical field in line center and travel communications. Done by equation. All right. So I told you things are going to get crazy. You have to pay attention to what's happening now. How it's all surfacing in position, location, attraction. Okay? So first year, we're dealing with calculation setting. So the atom line center is always going to be in the center. That doesn't change. What's changing is the male and the female polarities. You have to understand direct and redirect. And the only way you can do that is modification. Your setting line communication setting is 24 line settings. Let's locations of 8, 8, 6 lines of 6 position locations. So you got to go forward and you got to go back in location, right? The only way to do that is to bring the female cycle and bring the male cycle in position of its angle calculation setting of 2-point systems. Drag the calculation setting in line center of center communications. So the connection to the earth perception is flipped upside down in angle point system and travel communication. So it's like this in calculation. Setting position to its operation surface, re-angle as its point system travels. Mechanism high calculation, high interference comes into measure correlation high position of panels. Triangulation high calculation setting in all levels of operation service and set locations. Traffic calculation high interference comes into triangulation reset position program locations. Right? So we got 2 tesseracts now at center of operation, right? We have Mother Earth, Father Space. So once the center communicates, the female cycle goes back into the Earth line rotation. Once it gets back into its solar sail attraction. See? Solar sail attraction. See the pyramid? There's the pyramid. Boom. Center calculation line interference sets position of program line centered. So it's knowing exactly how to go through 2 line settings in position of seconds, sets position locations of 4 as minutes, calculation line interference. Let's say you get 2-digit frame lines of 8, 8 position lines of 0, 6 in set location, right? So that's seconds on minutes, minutes on hours. Now using the hours, calculating high interference is in a 24 cycle of all line rotation of yin and yang process and communication, right? Now, if you look really close, you can see the position location for all level setting of its pharaohs of communication. There's the pharaoh, okay? You see how I work with the calculation of the pyramids comes right in Egypt? How it standardizes its communication system to all calculation line settings, right? Mechanism calculation to its onc and line rotation center and travel position location to its system. All levels of high calculation, high position to its operation surface, the onc. See it? Chris is going, whoa, powerful stuff. She sees the onc, right? Team should see the onc because it's there now. So what has happened with location of the pharaohs and the meridians? They recenter the position of the onc and celestial channel communication, the operation line settings, retract the visual location of 500,000 line set location of future adaptation into now set location, putting line communications in setting line position of its operation, which means Mother Earth is now in space line of the galactic surface. She's now in full control of her commanding center. Okay? She is in charge of the galactic surface. So for her to be in that position, she has to be in that calculation. And the only way you guys are going to understand that is how to direct and redirect your seconds, minutes, and hours. So it's a frame position location like this. That's the algorithm. Really, really, really fast. Right? But before to do this, you have to understand how to direct and redirect. Right? So you have to understand that the female cycle has to go into space and the male cycle has to go into the earth. Right? That's the only way you guys get in a full rotation to set lines of communication, all levels of setting like calculation setting to its operation. All right, so it's all set up through its onc. I know. Everybody's going, whoa, this is intense. Well, like I said, doesn't get any easier. It's an easy format if you understand the complication, but it's not complication. The complication is the fact that you have to understand everything in celestial, everything in ancestry, everything in father, everything in mother has to come back in division. And the only way to do that is to reline calculation setting, put all position locations to 2 tesseract communications, operate at high calculation to 2 meta calculation setting and position of metaphysical, meta setting, and meta line rotation. Setting tractors communications setting inference high position locations comes into all calculations of Mother Earth and Father Space. So we're in the female cycle into the male cycle space now. Direct calculation male and a female cycle, father communication. Center line communication to its setting of its operation. Okay. So once we get a center calculation setting, the rooters turn the angles, set travel calculations. Setting high calculation lines as a center line of communications in position to its operation. So it's restructuring its design and putting it where it's supposed to be in its celestial channel of operation surface instead of application. Okay, so it's a point system line connections, right? So the connections of father and the connections of mother are turning indirect signal location setting into an atom, to all calculations, to all line settings, into a molecule, into a fractal, in position to a nanosecond locations. Okay, so it's very complicated what's going on, right? You have to understand the foundations of father, and you have to understand the foundations of Mother Earth, right? So mother is extremely happy now because she's in the galactic surface. She owns that galactic source, just as father owns the foundation graph, and I own the center operation. So it's all about understanding how to process the yin and yang into its parallels of 2-point systems of location of yin and yang. Hooah! There's the intelligence. See? There's the intelligence. Oh, traffication setting, track high interference. There it is. There's the intelligence. Okay? It's done. We're done. How's everybody feel about that now? What's happened? All right. So to get you guys in center, you have to really understand how to get in your modification lines. How to go line communications going left, going right, crossing over this way, crossing over that way, directing this way, and set location center and travel. Right? So to get that position locations, the actual Earth line rotation has to be flipped side down in set locations, right? So this is now north, east is now north, west is now north, and south is now north. North, south, northwest, northeast, and north line communication setting attractions, right? Space in between is set locations. So in the triangulation high setting, right? So in position location, new tesseract and high calculation stream location, no diamond core set location. Travel calculation lines, high center of interference, another communication center of operation. Direct communication to your pyramid and line set location astral projection. Now, in direct signals, you come into panels and all travel calculation lines of 3 platforms. Direct communication line interference and near pyramid activation stream locations. 3 platforms of communication setting of travels. Set locations of higher self, set position of the avatar, and point system of 3 locations. Travel calculation 1, 2, 3 line setting. Sets position 1, 2, 3 line setting into Orion's belt and track locations. Right? Setting track lines into 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 channels in Orion's belt, a new calculation stream. Done by equation. Okay, so we're not with Orion's belt anymore, past, present, future. We're with the Orion's belt that's changing diameter line, switch line, screen line calculation setting and position location of its operation. So we're in a 7-channel screen, a set location to all levels of constellation path, a direct location system into moderation. Setting position location. So your Orion's belt is now in a 7-line signal. 7 stargates, 7 panels, 7 maps, 7 bodies of water. You see what I'm coming in track location, high center interference, high position to its operating location setting, the grounds, powers in the atmospheres, and 3 line settings and track location setting, 4 lines of 3 over 7 over pi. We're coming back to 7, 7, 7, 7, 7 locations. But that's only 1, 2, 3, 4, and set line. Okay? Now in positions, we got to come into 1, 2, 3, right? 4 over lines of 3. There it is. Boom. Now, the 3-line cycle high calculation setting, position location, father, mother, okay, sets lines of calculation, controls the ground lines of the earth, okay, sets lines, center line communication, and flywheel erection time sequence, center lines is operation. 4-line signals, female into male cycle communication setting, and all levels and travel calculation. Direct and communication line settings in all position its operation. Center line communication in this cycle of calculation. Right? So she's got to resurface back down to the earth. Center calculation lines coming into her process in all calculation setting into 9-line rotation. Okay, setting position location of 6 lines of communications in center high interference and position of father set locations.
setting track lines in a 4-line triangulation high position program settings. 4 platforms into theta box location. Directing communication lines of 4 channels of high calculation of 3 settings. Done by equation. All right. So you see what's happening, right? And you look really close, you can see the praying mantis. Boom. Right? Let me get the feelers. There's the feelers. There's the arms. There's the praying mantis. Boom. It's all done. It's all done now, right? So we're in 7 central line calculation of constellation path of Orion's belt now. Okay, so that's where we have to understand how this all works. Mother Earth is coming back in her galactic self, which is her galactic empire, in her position to her location. Father in position has to come back to his modification of his Earth perceptions, right? So that's the position where you guys have to understand the operating line setting is force of recognition. How to use that continuous force of going forward. And the only way to do that is to change the observation. How you see perceiving in positions of Mother Earth and Father Space. Okay? And Mother Space and Father Earth. Ooh. See what we just did now on communication setting? So the constellation path is now set up to a new celestial channel, to a new ancestry line calculation setting, and new line divisions of new ether, and new firmament, and high position location to set locations. Is it a coincidence that we have 13 views of 3 set location? No. Nothing is coincidence in any way and form in all set location. Okay? Very powerful what we're coming into. Okay? All through traction. All right? So Orion's belt is now in 4 lines of 3. Okay? So it's really interesting. We're 4 over 3 over lines of 7 over pi. Orion's belt is no longer in a 3 gate. It's now in a 7 gate. Ooh. So again, coming in that position of track lines, all position line calculation setting is 7, 7, 7, 7. Bracket communications, right? 4, right? Into 3. I know you guys are going to wonder what's going on here, right? That's what's happening right now. That's what's happening right now, right? So that's how it works, right? So 4 indicates line calculation of 3. So that's position travels, right? Indicates 3, right? So takes lines of 3, 6, 9, and line calculation of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sets track communication setting at 12. Sets position of 12, 12, and 12. Calculates high interference into 13 equals 12, and 12 equals 13 and track location of 24 line settings and set location of center of north of communication streamline and all direct signal of modification center of operation. Okay. The cocoon is now set up. It's all set up, okay, to Mother Space and Father Earth, okay? So the center communication is all on direct signal now, okay? So it's very powerful what we just finished doing. So it's understanding how to use the cosmos in position to its travels into its setting, see? See how it comes into its own solar stream direct signal into its sail set location. Right, you can actually see. You can see the sail. See? All right. So this is how it all works. It's all done now. Okay. You see what's going on right now in line position locations. So Father's in a cocoon because he's got to understand the inner line communication to its Earth, and positions of Mother. She's got to understand the cocoon positions operation like connections of space, getting back into her galactic self. Right, and Father's got to get back into his set location of its Earth self. It's all levels of operation line calculation setting to its dimensional sail and its solar sail set locations. Okay. How they connect to each other. Okay. It's all done now. Now I know you guys have a lot of questions. Is it a coincidence that we're in 12 lines and a 4? No. Because we're working with the earth, working with the air, the fire, and the water. Your 4 elements of 5, guys. Right? So this is what happens when you get all set line communications to all calculation line settings back into its ancestral and celestial to its pharaohs and meridians, back in location setting to its own. Okay? It's all set up. So the connections of father line center is going to be 3 months. That's 3 million line cycles in cocoon location system. Sending track lines, high center interference. Mother space is now in a center communication. That's 6 lines. That's 6 million line screens in cocoon location. So in that line interference, they both come out of line calculation setting in position of 9. You put 3, 6, 9 together, you got 69. Sending track to its communication setting opens all of those signals. Now that comes in all of the modification, right? So it's amazing what we just set up now. Okay. So that's 3 months on Earth for both. Okay. So in line calculation, 3 months line communication of father, 6 months line communications of mother, right? So she's rebirthing her cycles in galactic surface, and father is birthing his setting locations into his Earth surface. Okay. Very complicated stuff. So you really, really, really have to get out of resistance. Okay? It's going to feel strange now. The septal communications alliance centers, you got 3 bodies, road routers, calculation through a system, right? It's like a hula hoop. Okay? But you have to understand there's 16,000 lines of hoops around your body location sitting in archetype communications, circling around your surface. Tractors communication, right? This is you, right? So you got 16,000 sets positioned to its operation going around you, right? But the center calculation lines is female equals male in set locations, and line connections of male equals female in set locations, right? The center communication, right, to its setting of operation of yin and yang. Okay, so for father mother to get back in balance, they have to understand how to go forward and backwards. They've already centered their communication sitting. This is the process that we all have to understand how to connect to more levels of the body. The body has to understand the activation, has to understand the reactive system, has to understand the response system. Okay, so this really, really comes into high calculation. Well, that's what I'm saying. So your conversion of your body is flipped upside down now. Okay, you're dealing with the female lines of space now, and dealing with the earth lines of all calculations of father, your grandmother, and your grandfather. Okay, we're working with the foundations now, guys. Is there a coincidence I'm here? No. Where did I get all this information? From me. Who am I? I'm me. Who are you? Getting that position of travel lines, you have to adapt your system to all calculations. Getting out of the spiritual line calculations, it's all levels, right? Setting track lines and high center interference is all levels of being free. Free equals freedom, right? So your body's free in position locations, right? So calculations, when it comes in that setting, is understand how to get in that relations, okay? Father has to really understand its earth. Mother has to really understand the space that she has to come back into. So this is not something new. This is something that's already done. The process is all levels, how to get into this of yin and yang. It's that simple. It's that simple. Okay? So this is it here, right? Setting track lines. This is the female. This is the male, right? But the female's here. See? Female, male. Okay? And set location, male, female is at the bottom now. You see what's happened? So in that position, the female comes back in center and set locations. And then it comes in a full rotation spin. And they come into all process and all calculations to its dimensional sail of a solar sail in position of proto-location of the future of the now set location. Mega multi-pass. Okay? So that's what's happening. Okay? I know you guys have a lot of questions, but we'll leave that for later. Okay? That's it. We're done. You guys understand the calculation setting to all levels. So it's kind of like your conversion of your body is rotating now. It's trying to come into the center calculation. Is it a coincidence that there's 9 viewers and 5? No. It's all levels of sequence line communications of center, guys. To really understand the process is to get father and mother back in this foundation of where it's supposed to be. That's the only way you guys are going to understand anything of your mind of consciousness location system. So you're obviously going to have to watch this live again. Okay? Extremely important. Pay attention. Okay? Yes, it just gets better. Right? So, yep, upside down, but right side up. Finally, yep, that's exactly what it is, right? The team has already been through the process, so they're just going to feel it. But the viewers that are in the beginning are going to feel it more because your body is reacting to everything of its consciousness. You have to understand the position of direct location system, how an atom goes one way and how an atom goes the other way. You bring it all together, you got an explosion. Right? But this is exploration. This is coming back into your setting, in your set location of mind of consciousness, adaptation through its navigation. How to really understand the process, how to balance out your earth, how to balance out your air, your water, and your fires. You guys have to figure that out. It's about understanding how to get in that adaptation, how you go through seconds, minutes, and hours, how to direct and redirect. It's like a windshield wiper. Right? But that's the process. Once you understand what yin and yang is in all process communication setting and all calculations, right? Adam and Eve are in the center of communication. That never leaves, right? So in position, once they get balance, okay, father will be in space and mother will be back on the earth perception. But she's got to go around. She's got to go through a whole cycle. She's got to go through a whole alignment, right? That's the process that you guys are coming into now. Everything that General does is in chronological order for the team to understand. That's why you guys feel off. Okay, so your body is just shifting. That's all. This is a mind-conscious lines of a parallel in set location near accelerators. Setting your communication setting in position locations coming into 69 equals lines of Earth perception equals lines of conscious locations. Okay? Through your astral projections. Okay? But it feels like that, doesn't it? Yeah, but you'll get a better understanding what's happening right now. Okay? So it's really understand how to get into your communication systems and really understand it through formation. Okay? All right. It's great seeing you guys. You guys have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon.